Senator Lionhelm.
Thank you, Madam Acting Deputy President. I rise to oppose the Criminal Code Amendment High Risks Terrorist Offenders Bill 2016. It effectively allows for life imprisonment of someone who was not originally sentenced to life imprisonment, even when there is no fresh or compelling evidence to question the original sentence and no suggestion that the original sentence was somehow tainted. Various stringent conditions have to be met to achieve effective life imprisonment of someone who was not originally sentenced to life imprisonment, and I am happy that these conditions exist. But no amount of window dressing can hide the fact that this is a fundamental assault on a basic human right. It amounts to imprisonment without trial. We should not be able to effectively impose life imprisonment on someone who was not originally sentenced to life imprisonment. A court can impose a sentence of life imprisonment on someone who engages in a terrorist act or plans or prepares a terrorist act. If a court that considers all the evidence and all the circumstances does not impose a life sentence, this judgment should not be thrown out when a prisoner's release approaches. To do so would be to effectively deny someone a fair trial. No Australian, no matter how seemingly abhorrent, and I acknowledge this is intended to apply to people who are pretty abhorrent, should be denied a fair trial. Courts are unable to impose a sentence of life imprisonment for acts that fall short of engaging in, preparing or planning a terrorist act. If a person is effectively imprisoned for life for committing such acts through continuing detention laws, we are effectively throwing out the statutes that set maximum penalties. The fact that we have statutes that set maximum penalty terms less than life imprisonment reflects the fact that we want to give people found guilty of certain offences another chance at freedom. We could be 100% safe from reoffending by locking up every prisoner for life, but that's not what we do. When the government passes a law with maximum penalties, the government is making a promise. It is promising that if you commit that offence, your penalty will not exceed that maximum. The government undertakes this promise not for the benefit of terrorists. It does this for the benefit of all of us. We should all be able to know how the state will react if we behave in certain ways. Otherwise, we are oppressed by the threat of arbitrary state action, like being blindfolded as you cross the street. The fact that people who committed terrorist offences in previous years did so without the threat of continuing detention means that we should not retrospectively impose the threat of continuing detention on these people now. Just because they acted oppressively does not mean we should act oppressively. When a court finds someone guilty, it must be beyond reasonable doubt, but proceedings for continuing detention are civil proceedings, and the court need only be satisfied to a high degree of probability that the person poses an unacceptable risk of committing a terrorist offence. The fact that we withhold punishment unless guilt is proven beyond reasonable doubt might allow the guilty to go free, but it also limits the injustices of people being punished beyond what is deserved. This principle should be retained. We should not be able to effectively impose life imprisonment on someone who was not originally sentenced to life imprisonment. And we need not do so either. Courts are able to impose control orders on all terrorist offenders who finish their prison terms. Control orders severely constrain movement, activities and association and allow intrusive surveillance. If there is any deficiency in powers for control orders, let's fix them rather than pursue continuing detention.
Thank you, Senator Lionhelm.